A wild storm was tearing through Yport, with howling winds and torrential rain hammering the small coastal village. Massive waves crashed against the shore, sounding like thunder as they sprayed foam everywhere. The storm was so fierce it ripped shingles off roofs, shattered shutters, and sent chimneys tumbling. The narrow streets were a wind tunnel, forcing people to cling to walls to stay upright. Most of the fishermen had headed home, but two stayed behind, huddled behind their boats, watching the ocean and sky duke it out. Jeremie and Mathurin, two weathered Normandy fishermen with tanned skin and sharp eyes, stood with their hands stuffed in their pockets, wool caps pulled low against the gale. "Come on, Jeremie. Let's grab a drink and play some dominoes." "My treat," Mathurin said, nudging his buddy. Jeremie hesitated. He loved a good game and some brandy, but he knew if he went to Pamel's cafe, he'd stumble home plastered. Still, his wife was waiting at home and he didn't want to leave her alone in this mess. "Man, it's like you're trying to get me drunk every night. What's in it for you?" he teased, though he was already half sold on the idea. Mathurin grinned, tugging Jeremie's sleeve. "Come on, you need something to warm you up in this weather. Your wife's got the bed ready, right?" Jeremie chuckled, remembering the last time he got so drunk he fell into a ditch outside his house. All right, he said, and they headed to Pamel's, pushed along by the wind. The cafe was packed with noisy sailors, the air thick with tobacco smoke and the clatter of dominoes. Jeremie and Mathurin grabbed a corner table, started a game, and downed brandy like it was water. Mathurin kept pouring, winking at the barman, a big guy with a red face who seemed to find the whole thing hilarious. Jeremie, already tipsy, laughed along, his head wobbling as he slammed down dominoes. One by one, the other customers left, the wind bursting in every time the door opened, swirling the smoke and making the lamps flicker. Soon, it was just Jeremie, Mathurin, and the barman. "How's it going, Jeremie? Throat still dry?" the barman asked with a smirk. "The more I drink, the thirstier I get." Jeremie slurred, grinning like an idiot. The barman glanced at Mathurin. "And your brother? Where's he at?" Mathurin chuckled. "Oh, he's nice and warm, don't worry." Jeremie, now completely smashed, slammed down a double six. "Game!" he shouted. The barman called it a night, leaving them a lamp and a bottle. "Lock up when you're done, Mathurin," he said, heading upstairs. The two kept playing, the storm rattling the cafe. When the clock struck midnight, Mathurin stood. "Time to go, Jeremie." Jeremie, barely able to stand, leaned on the table, stumbled to the door, and followed Mathurin out. Mathurin locked up, said, "See ya tomorrow," and vanished into the dark. Jeremie staggered through the streets, the wind pushing him along. He finally found his house and fumbled for the keyhole, cursing when he couldn't get it right. He banged on the door, yelling for his wife. "Melina! Yo, Melina!" Leaning against the door, it suddenly swung open, and he fell flat on his face inside. Something heavy brushed past him and bolted into the night. Jeremie froze, spooked, convinced it was a ghost or something worse. He lay there, heart pounding, too scared to move. Eventually, he sat up, still drunk but starting to think. "Melina?" he called. No answer. A dark thought crept into his foggy brain. He started muttering to himself. "I'm wasted. Mathurin got me drunk on purpose to keep me out. Something's up." Fury building, he stumbled to his feet, shouting, "Melina, who was it? Tell me, or you're in trouble." No response. He groped around, found the bed, and felt his wife's warm body. Rage took over. "You're there, and you won't talk?" he roared, grabbing a chair and swinging it down with all his strength. A scream tore through the room, then silence. Jeremie kept swinging, the chair splintering in his hands until he was too exhausted to continue. "Who was it?" he demanded again, panting. No answer. Worn out, he collapsed on the floor and passed out. At dawn, a neighbor peeked in the open door and froze. Jeremie was snoring amid the wreckage of a broken chair. On the bed was a bloody, lifeless mess.